waddlers. Something big has happened. Something huge has happened. If you haven't noticed, look at this. We're getting so close to 1,000K. This is so exciting. This is crazy. The final moments have entered for you to subscribe before 1 million. Welcome back to the Minecraft Guide 96. I like the number 96. I'm not too sure why, but I like it. I added 2 trees in between episodes. I don't know how I feel about these trees, but I did add them. Soon we're going to add more trees because today is the big day. A couple episodes ago, we got lucky. We were the luckiest person in the world, basically. We found something amazing. It's really amazing. I can't even say what it is. I just have to show you. Okay, so we go down over here. It's pretty close to the base. This is a little bit of a ways away, but pretty close. We go down the staircase right here. It winds a couple times, and then boom, right here. You see what that tasty thing is? Oh, that's right. Skeleton spawner. Today we're going to make a farm out of this thing. It's super easy. It's going to get us so much bone meal, arrows, and stuff like that too, experience. But bone meal, that's the big thing that we're building this thing for. You have no clue how excited I am. Like, this is my favorite, like my literal favorite spawner farm in this world. And we finally have one. Materials right here. This is what you're going to need to build this farm. A piece of soul sand. Signs. I can't tell you the exact amount because it kind of varies depending on what you want to do with your elevator, but signs have like at least this much, I would say. Water buckets, maybe ice. Ice is always good. Building blocks. These are our building blocks today. And then skeleton spawner, the most important thing, which we finally have. I can't believe that we found this thing, actually. I'm still in shock. All right, so I don't honestly remember what we got in here. What did we get? Oh, that's right. That's absolutely terrible. That's pretty cool, though. We might get horses soon. That's pretty sweet. We're going to go ahead and move those things out of here right off the bat, and then we're going to grab slabs. We need 2 slabs. We're going to put 1 slab right on top of the spawner. We're going to dig out below the spawner and put another slab right there. After that, we're going to grab light and put torches on every single side of the spawner. Make sure it's safe, and then we're going to have some on the walls, too, but we're actually going to move the walls out in just a second. But yeah, this is the setup right here. Now, what I think I'm going to do with all of this other random stuff like diamond, horse armor, redstone dust, rotten flesh, we're just going to go up to the surface here, put it on the ground in a chest, and I'll come back later. We're pretty close to the base. From this spot, we can actually see the Panda monorail and Panda Island. The temple is going to be just out of sight, but it would be right over there. We're pretty close to the base. Also, I have no clue what's up with this tree. Like, I'm pretty sure I came here and took this wood out at some point, but I don't know where it is. Like it's just missing. It's weird. So these spawner farms are really nice farms at any point in the game. Earlier on in the game, these things are great for experience and bows and arrows and things like that. And then late game, in the skeletons farm case, bone meal. Bone meal is so useful. It's always useful for like growing things quickly, like trees, crops, you know, all that type of stuff. These farms are also insanely easy to set up. Now, we set up 2 zombie farms in this world, which are basically the same thing as this one, but nowhere near as good at the same time. Like the drops from this thing are going to be insane. I can't even stop, like with how excited I am. It's exciting. So 1, 2, 3, 4 out that way, 4 out that way, 4 out that way, 4 out that way. That's the setup. Then we need to clear this whole room out. What we're going to have is a 9x9 room. Now the ceiling above the spawner, today we're going to make it 3 blocks above it, which is actually perfect because this is already 3 blocks above it, and then we have the slab up here on top of the thing to stop skeletons from spawning and idling around on top of the spawner. So spawners are kind of interesting. They have a spawning radius. By digging this room out 9x9, we open up the entire spawning radius. If a skeleton were to spawn in this room and idle around, the spawner actually would stop spawning mobs. The game is doing that to make things a little bit more balanced out easy. I mean, imagine if skeletons just kept spawning and spawning and spawning. I mean, once you have a farm, that would be really good. Insanely overpowered, actually. But before the farm, you could end up with like 1 trillion mobs inside of the room. That would be really dangerous. Not good. Now, the skeleton spawner is going to do basically a skeleton check every once in a while. If there's a skeleton within the radius of the spawner, it won't spawn any more skeletons. If there are no skeletons, however, it can spawn more skeletons. But here's the thing, for this to actually work, it's also going to need to be dark. So while you're digging all of this room out, make sure you put torches down and make it like bright and stuff, because you don't want to have skeletons spawning while you're trying to work on this thing. It would be really annoying. Also, if you're in a spawner that's connected to a cave system, this one is like oddly isolated, make sure the cave system is lit up too, or just blocked off. You don't want like a creeper to walk in here and blow this thing up, because if it's gone, it's literally gone. It's done. Okay, so now we have this 9x9 room. Don't worry about the floor quite yet, but it doesn't look very good. And today we are actually going to worry about the look of this room. So this is what I'm thinking. What we're going to do is in the middle, we're going to do light gray concrete stripe that goes up like that. And we're going to do it on every side. I think that's going to look pretty cool, pretty nice. And then I think we're going to do the same thing on the ceiling too. Like this is going to reach all the way across here, and then it's going to link up. So we're basically going to have like this giant, like, it's going to look like a present box kind of. If you know what I'm saying. Alright, so we're gonna have something that looks like that so far. So far, so good. Also, if you have random holes behind this thing, you can go ahead and fill those things in. We don't really need them there. I'll probably end up filling this in all the way. Maybe that, maybe not, I'm not too sure, but that for sure. So, we had the light gray concrete, then I'm thinking cyan terracotta in here too. The cyan terracotta is going to go everywhere that we have stone, so like all of these spots right here, and then I think maybe even more light gray concrete, like wrapping around the middle here. This is going to be like the middle of the room, so it's going to go like all the way over to this wall right here, and then it's going to wrap around, and then when we dig down, it'll go down too, and then we have like the cyan terracotta in here, like I said, it'll be on the ceiling too. Over here. So that's going to mean when we're done with this thing, we're going to have something that kind of looks like this right here, but multiplied like over and over and over again, and then down low too. Now to get all of this terracotta, before the episode, I actually flew over to the mesa biome to get the terracotta. I dug it up, and then I realized that the nether hub still needs to be finished. I still need to come back into the nether hub and actually get the crying obsidian in before the 2 so don't let me forget about that. I have to remember that. Like, even if it's episode 99, that's fine. But it has to be done before the tour. Also, this cave system. It's a cave system. It's cool. There's some dark spots. But I think what I'm going to do is just block it off. I know my way in from, like, the ravine over by the pandas. So that should be fine. Alright, so here we go. We have this room basically finished. I left this spot right here open so I can get up and down. Now we need to dig the room down. Digging the room down is pretty simple. All we need to do is go 1 right now, 2, 3. 3 blocks below the spawner, and then dig it out all the way. So we have a 9 by 9 room. You could go deeper if you wanted to, which today, I actually think I'm going to do. I'm going to go 4 blocks below the spawner. But if you're trying to do as little work as possible and still have this thing function well, then 3 blocks below the spawner, 4 if you want, or you could even go more, but don't go too many. So 4 blocks below the spawner, the entire room cleared out. Now I actually had to go back over to the base because I ran out of terracotta and concrete powder, but I have it now. So even more concrete, what we're going to do is we're going to have this continue straight down to the floor, and then we're actually going to do the floor of this room different. I'm kind of torn right now. I can't decide if I want to do cobblestone, mossy cobblestone, or if I want to do smooth stone. I can't decide. I'm kind of leaning towards mossy cobblestone though. I feel like that vibe it's kind of perfect for this room, you know, with like the whole spawner vibe and everything. So yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. But the walls are going to be identical to what we just did a second ago. Now, technically, when you're setting these things up, you don't have to worry about this stuff looking good. I don't know what I'm going to do with my spawner grinding room, where I go to actually farm the skeletons out. So today, I'm caring about the looks. I am thinking about putting like a window looking into this room. I think that could be cool. But at the same time, I'm not 100% sure. Either way, though, the things that we're using to build this thing, they're like really cheap for me, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, so I finally finished the walls. It's looking pretty sweet in here. Now, I just need to do the floor. The floor is definitely lacking, for sure. I've decided cobblestone, a mossy cobblestone. It'll match that spawner vibe, you know, of like the OG room before we tore everything up. I think that'll be pretty sweet. So I'm just going to go ahead and try and use like basically every single piece of mossy cobblestone up that I had here. Just put it back into the floor. It's fine. It'll look good. So now with the floor done, we have this room right here. Ignore that trench for a second. Okay, don't ignore the trench anymore because check this out. If I put water at the back of this room, it's going to flow from that back corner all the way down this way. So we have this whole room dug out and looking good now. All we need to do is set up a funnel system to move the skeletons over to one spot, and then an elevator system to raise them up and drop them. If we drop them 22 blocks, we'll take the skeletons down to 1 health. When the skeletons are down at 1 health, then they're insanely easy to take out. All we need to do is grab literally any sword. Even though we have this sword, we could use like anything, even a wood sword, take them out in 1 hit, which is perfect. That's exactly what we're going for. So what we're going to do is we're going to line one side of the room with water. There are a couple different ways to funnel the skeletons. This is my favorite way. To figure out where you should be putting your water, think about where you want your skeletons to be farmed. For me, in my case, because of the base, I'm pretty sure is that way. Easy way to double check this, go back up to the surface. Is the base that way? Yeah, roughly that way. Yeah, so because I want to farm my skeletons over there on that side of the room, I'm going to pick one of the walls next to that side. So like this wall or the one that I'm standing against, place water down all the way. Then on the other end, we're going to dig down 1 block. So we have this trench right here. I'm going to do this. I have to do it. The floor needs to look good. It has to match, and same with the wall, so that's going to come out. All of this is going to be cobblestone. It's going to look great. But after like 5 blocks, dig 2 blocks down, so your trench gets a little bit deeper. We'll be using the water on that side of the room to move the skeletons over here. Then this trench to move them over to one singular point. which is going to be the elevator. The elevator is going to be a couple blocks past the room on this wall. To find where your elevator goes, find the corner that you'll be moving all of your skeletons towards, and go like 2-3 blocks out of the room, something like that. So after you're digging your trench, this is what we're going to have. We're going to have water at this back corner. It's going to flow down this way, then flow over there to where the elevator will be. We'll place soul sand there, build an elevator, which is what we're about to do. But for now, we're just going to pull that water out. We don't really need it. This is going to go back so I can get out of this thing. Then what we're actually going to do is go over here, 1 block in front of where the elevator will be, dig down, place water right there. That's so we can get back down into this room if we have to. Okay, so before we set up our actual elevator, we need to figure out where we want to farm the skeletons. So what we're going to do is stay in line with the elevator, go a couple blocks out. I'm thinking like maybe this spot right here, like that's 3 blocks out from the elevator. That should be good. Then what we're going to do is dig out a little bit of space around this room. If you want to, maybe like a way up to the surface, at least a way out of this room though, like over to where your building stuff is. So what I'm going to do for now is put a staircase right here. I'm going to staircase all the way up to the surface so I have a way in and out of this thing. Then I'm going to move all of my building supplies over to this room now. This is going to be our new workroom next to the elevator. I am going to leave my way in and out of this room though, like this staircase right here for now. I'll close it up later, but I'm going to leave that there. Alright, so this staircase goes up to the surface. I have all of the stuff over in this room. Now all we need to do is set up the elevator, which is pretty simple. Start by placing a block down wherever you want to drop your skeletons. Your skeletons, to make things easier, should be in line with wherever your elevator is going to be. So like straight down over here, that's perfect. Now what we're going to do is get the exact coordinates of this block. Make sure you write them down exactly right. Alright, so there we go. Those are the coordinates. Now, the important one today is the Y coordinate. We need to add 22 to 38 right there. Adding 22 to that is pretty easy. 724, 60, 1495. The important one here is the 60 number. Now we're going to go back over to our elevator and build this elevator all the way up to Y60. Now this could be a little bit annoying. Like, it's going to take some time. You're going to need signs and water buckets for this, so make sure you have all of your signs and at least 1 water bucket to do this. But thankfully, it's not actually that hard. It's just kind of annoying. So this is our elevator right here, 2 blocks past this room. What we're going to do is dig this out so we have a 3 high entrance right there. I forgot to fix these, so you saw nothing. That's been perfect the whole time. Same with this side. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. And now I'm going to take the time today to make sure my elevator looks really good. But the elevator is going to be 2 blocks wide like this. We're going to have a soul sand block at the back, a water block right there for now. What we're going to do is place signs along the front side. So this side right here, going all the way up. Then on the back side, we're going to place the water bucket. This soul sand will actually turn into a bubble column eventually once we turn these all into water sources, and the skeletons will be sent up to the top and then they'll be dropped. All we need to do is get this elevator going all the way up to Y60. So right now we're at 42. It's going to take some time, but it's not that hard. To me, the easiest way to get this done is like this. So we have water right here, and then I go in and I change all of the blocks on the wall because I'm going to do that today. Then we can jump back down into this water. If we land there perfectly, we won't take any damage. We can go back over to this spot in this room where the water is, grab another water source, float back up this thing, make sure all of these signs are here, place another water source, it dumps down, we climb up, dig a couple blocks out, sand on the side, you know, dig out all of these blocks on the wall. If you're doing that, you don't even have to do that, and basically repeat the process over and over and over again. Essentially, what we're doing here is using the water to move up a little bit higher so we can reach everything, and then using this water right down here to jump back down out of the elevator to get more water so we don't take any damage. Oh, no way, no way, this is kind of crazy. So I was digging this thing out just now, and it actually is right below this water pond right here. Like, we're going to be really, really close to the surface. So I'm going to get rid of that water, and I think I need to go like 2 more blocks or something like that. Yeah, like 2 more blocks to 60. So the sand's going to be the way, but this is kind of crazy. We're going to be like right up on the surface. No, it's actually 1 more block. I literally need to go 1 more block, and then I'm at the surface. Okay, that's crazy. Okay, I mean the top of the elevator. I made it all the way up to the top of the elevator. So what we're going to do is grab a water bucket and dump that right here. That's going to dump down and dump over this way. We need to get over to those coordinates that we had before, 724, 1495. I think that's going to be like 1 more block, 2 more blocks this way, right? 1495, 722, 23, 24. So that's going to be all the way over here. We're going to place a sign down once we find that block. And then all we need to do is dig all the way down. Now I'm going to come back up here in a second and replace all of these blocks. I have them smelting up. I just don't have enough right now. But yeah, I am going to make sure this whole thing looks good too. I'll place that there. I'll fix that up. But Now, all we need to do is dig straight down, and we should end up on our spot right here. Now, if you're digging straight down, like, really long ways and you're by lava, obviously, like, be careful. But I should be good here. Yep, perfect. Okay, so that's going to be right there. Now, all I need to do is make these blocks look better, which is going to be the terracotta blocks, and then the top of the elevator too. When I do the top of these elevators, just to make sure there's enough room, I like to make sure this area is 3 blocks tall. So 1, 2, 3, and then I would put the ceiling up here. So the ceiling of this elevator is actually going to sit 1 block above the surface right here, which actually, honestly, I'm fine with. Maybe we'll be able to incorporate this into the build that we end up doing somehow. I'm not too sure. Alright, so I ran out of terracotta again, but here we go. This is the final setup right here. We're going to place terracotta coming down all the way to this block, except for 1 block right here. This will trap the skeletons in. You could leave it open on all of the sides, like all the way around this thing if you want to, or you could close it off on like every side except for 1. Whatever you want to do, but you need 1 block open over here on this side. Now we need to go back over and get into that room to finish everything up. Back over in this room, this is what we have now. Not much has actually changed. We have that entrance right there. We're going to go out of that in a second. Grab some water, place it in one corner to finish off the water trenches. That should go all the way over to the elevator and then stop right here. Make sure you have water right here. We need to turn this elevator into a working elevator. Right now, these aren't water sources above the soul sand, so it doesn't actually work. Now, to turn these to water sources, you have 2 options. The long option, which is buckets of water and you dump them one by one by one by one. Option number 2, the easy one, kelp. On top of the soul sand, place kelp and build it all the way up to the top here. By placing kelp in here on all of this water all the way up to the top, we turn these water blocks into actual water sources instead of flowing water. Jump out of the elevator, back down to the bottom, land into the water, get rid of that, give it a second, and then this should activate. We see bubbles there now, we're good. Don't go in the elevator. Back out of there and then swap this water block out for something else. I highly recommend ice. Ice is kind of slippery. Personally, I feel like the skeletons kind of push each other better on ice. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but that's kind of what I feel. I'm also going to change these 2 blocks right there to ice as well, make it more slippery. Technically, ice only really moves items, but I don't know. I always do it. It seems to work well, so that's what I do. Now, all of these torches can go out of here. That we're going to need to get out of this room. We're going to need to be quick about this. Skeletons are going to start spawning once it gets dark, and they're going to shoot at me, and it's not going to be good. Hey, buddy, how about no? How about no? How about no? Okay, yeah. Now, what we're going to do is climb up here, get rid of that. Don't worry about it, skeleton. Stop. Leave me alone. No, okay? Okay, all right, we have 1 torch left. We should be able to hit that from there. There we go. Okay, skeletons, don't worry about it. Take those out. I think the whole room is good now. Yeah, okay. Close that off. Now we're good. That's that. Okay, so I'm going to actually come back in here later and fill all of this in. I don't have the blocks on me right now, but now we want to get over to the other side of this room. When we're within 16 blocks of the spawner, it'll be active. 16 blocks, honestly, might even be like right up on the surface above the thing. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it might be. Anyways, though, when we're within 16 blocks of that spawner, it'll be active, which means it can spawn skeletons. If there aren't skeletons near the spawner, it'll spawn skeletons. They'll fall into the water, be moved over to the elevator, and then dropped down right here, and we could take them out easy, just like that. That's all you have to do. Skeleton farm is so simple. You can take them out with your fist, which is super cool, and it just works. That's all you have to do. Now, I highly recommend using a looting 3 sword if you're trying to get bones, because taking the skeletons out with looting 3 will give you more bones, and then you can turn those more bones into bone meal, which is amazing. Now, this room should be close enough to your spawner that you should be able to stand in it and have the skeletons actually spawn. I know for sure that somewhere over here, probably over here too, is within 16 blocks of the spawner. If you're not sure, you can actually dig back over to the spawner room and then take a look at it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually see it, but if your spawner has those flame particle effects around it, then it's actually active and can spawn skeletons. Now, design-wise, what am I going to do with this room? To be honest, I have no clue. I'm going to have to figure that out in between episodes. I'm thinking the next episode we'll come back and make the skeleton spawner look good so it's ready for the tour and so I can actually enjoy using it. But for the spawner itself, that's all you have to do. They're so easy to set up and definitely like 1000% worth it. But that is actually going to do it for today's episode of the guide. I decided that maybe we will use the temple for the comment of the day books. I don't know. I'm not too sure. Maybe I'll do the comment of the day here from now on. I don't know. Today's comment of the day though, blue coral blocks and stripped warped logs look pretty good together. That sounds like an amazing combo. It actually brings up a really good point. So after the tour, we're going to switch gears and start doing some really, really cool stuff. But I need your help. I can't decide. Do we do villager stuff like raids, maybe Woodland Mansion, that type of stuff? Or do we perhaps maybe do ocean stuff? Like find an ocean monument, talk about the conduit, get like a turtle farm in here and everything like that? I can't decide. So let me know down in the comments below which idea you would rather see. Water or like raid stuff. We'll eventually do both of those things. It's just like, which one do I do first? I can't really decide. Subscribe, like, drop a follow on my Twitter. Big shout out to my patron, Cypher1158, Ryan T. It's been me, your boy, Skeleton Farm. We've done it. We actually have a skeleton farm. It's amazing. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.